let's just start. Thank you for coming this evening. This is the Economic Development Committee. I think everything's on. We have a new member this evening, and Mr. Bogozzi, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us how you came to be here?
Sure, I wasn't prepared, but yeah, I serve on the Planning Committee. I've been on the Plan Commission. I've been serving on the Plan Commission for about 3 years. I live in Evanston, naturally. So happy to be here. I don't know a whole lot about it. I read the minutes from the previous meeting and the agenda, so I'm looking forward to serving on the Economic Development Committee.
And we're really happy to have you. Thank you so much, and that was quite a meeting, so welcome.
Yeah. Oh, the last one.
Glad to have you. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's get started. First item on our agenda is approval of the minutes of January 31st. Can I have a motion?
Move approval.
Any amendments, changes, corrections? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item, Great Merchant Grants. Would staff like to make a presentation of any kind? This is great work here. I appreciate it very much. Everything is so coordinated now, and our applicants don't have to go to a whole lot of trouble. They just have to apply and have a good project.
Yeah, there's no formal...
Want to introduce yourself to people who don't know you?
My name is Paulina Martinez. I'm an Economic Development Specialist, and good evening, Madam Chair and members of the committee. The Great Merchant Grant usually awards up to $10,000 to business districts for infrastructure improvements and beautification projects, and up to $2,500 to affinity groups in matching funds for marketing and events. For 2018, we received 7 applications requesting a variety of services from landscaping, banners, advertisement, and this request adds up to $56,290 with 50 cents. In the package, you can see the breakdown of who's requesting what, and the only note that I will add to this is that the Black Business Consortium has previously received $1,800, mainly for Le Tour de Noir, which was a very successful event. And they're just coming back to request a reimbursement of an additional $250 for additional expenses that they incurred for printing. Do you have any questions about this program?
I don't see any lights, but one thing I would like to do is if there are representatives from Central Street, West End, Howard Street, West Village, Hill Arts, Central, Evanston, or the Black Business Consortium, if they could stand and maybe just introduce themselves so we could all know who they are, because I think this is really fabulous. Could you just come up and introduce yourselves? I think that would be great. Because then people at home, and we have a huge audience, just so you know.
Sure. My name is Wendy Weaver. I'm the chair of the Black Business Consortium for this year, 2018.
I heard it was fabulous.
Yes, it was. Thanks.
I'm Clarence, and I'm part of her family.
You were fabulous. You were fabulous too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, folks. I'm Tom Erd from the Spice House on Central Street.
Wow.
Thank you.
I'm Richard Prinz with the West End.
Yay.
Dekel Fonda with West Village Business Association.
Oh, you have a reputation.
Beth Adler from the West Village Business Association.
Great.
John Lineweber, Hill Arts District.
Great.
My name is Donna Walker, and I'm a representative of CEBA, which is Central Evanston Business Association.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. Let's give them a hand. And unfortunately, Barbara Carlson, who's the veterinarian on Howard Street, isn't here because it's her house that was burning on Ridge Avenue tonight, 600 block. Her garage burned, and I guess it caught some of her house. So she's the representative from there. But she just let us know that nobody got hurt, everything's fine, they're assessing the damage. So She'll be okay. Anyway, okay, so this is great, and I love the way that we're doing it now. You get the bids for the various projects so that everybody isn't calling all the same people and
Correct.
doing
Yes.
all the drudgery. So that, thank you for doing the drudgery.
Absolutely.
It's great. Any questions about any of the projects or anything? No? Okay, everything's good. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, so we're going to have to, somebody's going to have to make a motion so that we can recommend all this. Can you speak into your microphone?
Good. I move we recommend approval to the council.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. All right, that passes. We'll recommend that to the council. Next is the entrepreneur grants, entrepreneurship grants.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Cindy Plant, Economic Development Coordinator. So we had this month 3 completed applications for funding under the entrepreneurship program. All 3 of the entrepreneurs who are here tonight have completed Sunshine Business Academy and are seeking startup funds for a variety of needs, primarily equipment, workspace, and yeah, I think everything sort of falls into either the equipment or workspace categories. But we have Pop, Pour, Sip graphic design, Fresh Prints custom apparel, and A. Gordon's Dessert Shop, who are all seeking some funding tonight under the guidelines. So I'll introduce folks to come up, introduce themselves and their businesses, and that'll give you all a chance to ask them any questions. Before I do that, if you have any questions for me, if not, I'll go ahead and get started with Pop, Pour, Sip.
Sure. Is the camera going to be able to get that?
Oh,
I'm trying to see.
should I move it back?
Maybe on a chair,
Or which angle?
or maybe on the legal
That's a
thing?
good spot for it.
Is it okay? And everybody can see it. Okay.
Okay, hello, good evening, Madam
Hi.
Chair and members of the committee and all in attendance. My name is Rena Triss Pierre. I am newly established in Evanston, moving from Lake County, Illinois. And as stated, I did graduate from Sunshine Enterprises. I actually have 2 businesses, but one which is truly in motion and has been for 13 years, which is Pop, Pour, Sip graphic design. Some background on myself. I started this career 13 years ago as a service member of the United States Marine Corps as a combat photographer. During that time in my service, I also freelanced with several businesses, including Vibe Magazine, HBO, and Clear Channel Radio. From there, after Hurricane Katrina and after my term ended in the military, I moved up to Illinois and also pursued freelancing here, finished my bachelor's degree at Robert Morris University, and basically decided to further my education in business with Sunshine Enterprises, and since then I've served a number of individuals that went to school with me, one being the menu in the middle, Sol Appetit, and Clive Hamilton of Clive Hamilton Furnishings. Let's see, my specialty is, of course, all sorts of design, which includes, as you saw in the business plan, administrative forms, PDF menus, event tickets, posters, brochures, web design, also presentations that are done for infographics and on print, fine art, pastel, sketch work, also laser cut jewelry, fine precious metal jewelry, and computer generated images. So basically I'm here this evening because, as you saw in my current assets, I have a dying computer. It is over 10 years old. It has limited amount of RAM and hard drive space. I do supplement my hard drive space with a Dropbox membership that I am not seeking help with. But in order to maintain the integrity in my workflow and the projects that I have coming up, I will need a new computer, of which I cannot afford on my own completely. I will be able to afford a monitor, and I'm investing my own money in that. I do have scanners, printers that are still serviceable and relatively new, but the main workhorse is what needs replacement as soon as possible. And also another reason why I want to point out that I'm also looking for assistance is because I assist other people as well in the community. I provide superior artwork and design, and I do not do it at rates that upstarts or grassroots organizations or community organizations cannot afford. I'm very flexible and amicable with my prices. And that's that. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Excellent. All right.
Thank
For
you.
approval? Are we going to do them all at once?
I think we should wait.
Did you all have any questions for me? I forgot to ask that.
Okay. Alderman Simmons has a question.
Were we doing them one each?
Let's hear them all.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Seth Simmons. I'm a lifelong Evanston resident. My business is called Fresh Prints Custom Apparel and Design. It deals with screen printing and custom apparel for customers to come and make their own designs. We work with them digitally. We also offer our own designs that we put on shirts and apparel and offer to the community. It's going to be an internet-based business to start off with, and hopefully within the next 1 to 2 years I can open up a storefront here in Evanston and offer up my services to people in person. I've been in the industry for the last 5 years working management and production, and I found that this is my passion. I love creating, I love working with people, and I love making people happy with the art that I create. So that's me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have any questions?
All right, we have a question from Alderman Wilson.
It's more of an observation. Having just gotten back from New York City and stopped in the Superior store, the Babe store, and the Kith store, it looks like there's probably a lot of upside potential in this kind of.
Lots.
So, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So good luck with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have.
Good evening, all. My name is Ava Gordon, and I am the proud owner of A Gordle's Dessert Shop. A Gordle's was born here in Evanston in 2015. I've been in business for a very long time, but the name changed in 2015, and it was dedicated to be here in Evanston. We manufacture baked goods from cakes, cookies, pies, tarts, anything you can think of for the most part, but we currently specialize in our pound cakes and our gourmet cookies because I still work a full-time job. With that being said, I've gone through the Sunshine Program. I am now connected as a supplier for Hecky's. I'm also in Jennifer Edibles. I also work with Yo Fresh with catering with him. I am in a store on the south side and just was awarded another store on the south side. So I am requesting assistance with shared kitchen fees for a couple of months. A mixer, a 10-quart mixer, as well as an iPad for my POS system, because now I would like to be able to get into the farmers markets here in Evanston, winter and summer, and eventually within a few years, again, have a storefront here, but more of a dessert evening bar where we can then, it'll be very communal, and I have a secret behind it, but I think it'll even be once I'm able to kind of put things together, it'll be great. So that is I. Any questions?
Could you tell me what shared kitchen?
Currently, it's one in Chicago, right off of Broadway, Edge of Sweetness. I might have a space here in Evanston as of this evening, but I have to make a phone call. But right now, it is in Chicago off of Broadway.
They're expensive.
They are.
Yeah, yeah. I was very surprised at how expensive they are.
Yeah.
And
But
you
when
have
you
you
take-
have refrigerator space in those kitchens and
Yeah.
cabinet space, things like that.
But of course,
yeah.
that's another fee.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you did it by the hour, it's $25 to $30 an hour. So by the time you prep, bake, mix, clean, pack up, put back to storage, you're paying about the same. So with this kitchen, if you broke it out for 30 days, it's about $38 a day
Yeah.
compared to $100 a day. So, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? No. All right. Thank you so much.
You.
Good luck. Yeah. All right, Cindy, do you want to make any more of a presentation here?
That's it for me on this particular agenda item, unless there are any questions. Staff recommend approval and advancement to City Council.
Okay. All right. So on the entrepreneurship grants, all three, we'll just vote on all three. Could I have a motion?
Move a
Okay.
second.
All right. This is to recommend to the council all three grants, full grants. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There. Good. Congratulations, everybody. Good job.
So the next
I
step
can't
will be
wait
for.
to taste the pound cake.
Oh, yeah. Next step for these will be City Council in March.
March. Okay. Well, this is March tomorrow.
I know. I think the first meeting of the month is the 9th.
That's great. You should
sounds
come.
right.
They should come in case there are any questions from other members, just in case.
Yeah. So, all right.
All right, next, storefront modernization. Looks like we have one item.
1101 Howard is currently it's medical building, sort of near the senior building. So the applicant is here this evening. It's primarily occupied by the owner, who's a dentist and has his practice in the building, but their proposal is for funding assistance to add windows to the street-facing facade of the building, because if you look at the building or drive by it now, there really aren't any windows. There is almost no storefront glass except for the door, so they're looking to really sort of modernize the look and feel of that building by the addition of windows and the attendant masonry work that's needed to cut openings for said windows. This has already been through DAPR, and all of the bids and requirements have been met under the program guidelines. The maximum grant amount is $14,000 based on the length of frontage. The project scope was rather large, and although it far exceeded the $25,000 cap that we'd normally have for a building with longer frontage. But because this was only 75 feet of frontage, our program guidelines require that it's $10,000 for the first 35 linear feet, with an additional $100 for each foot, thereafter. So that's how we landed at that amount. Any questions for me or for the applicants?
The applicant is here. Anybody want to hear from the applicant?
I have a quick question. Sure. There seem to be two plans, one with 3 windows on each side and one with 4 windows on each side.
I think
Which plan are we going with?
Yeah, which one is it? I think the 3.
It's going to be the 3 windows. Thank you.
Right.
I know it's in my ward, and I shouldn't besmirch the building, but it's just not very attractive right now. And this is the first time anything in that strip has been, upgraded, and so it's pretty exciting that somebody would want to do something, and hopefully more people will want to do something. It's, maybe a little landscaping later on, I don't know. So anyway, I really appreciate their making this application. All right, if you don't want to hear anything from the applicant, can I have a motion?
Second.
Okay. All right. All those in favor of recommending to the council, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Alderman Simmons, would you like to vote on this? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you very much, Cindy. Thank you. Thank you, applicant. Thank you, doctor. Thank you. Next item is arts hiring program funding requests from Mudlark Theater.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm Paul Zalmazak, the Economic Development Manager. Before I jump in on this, I wanted to welcome Mr. Pagozzi, so thank you. I didn't get a chance to say that beforehand. And I also wanted to echo something Chairman Rainey said at the beginning. Paulina Martinez has worked really hard on this Great Merchant Grant Program, and you talked about the drudgery. If you only knew, it's a challenge, and she's doing a great job, and I wanted to publicly recognize her in front of 3 people, but she's doing a fantastic job, and it's been an adjustment, and I think the merchants appreciate it a lot, the feedback we received, and I actually think we'll have to do an analysis, but I think we're actually saving the city some money in terms of how we're able to kind of centralize the process and get kind of we'll call it like a bulk discount. So we'll analyze that at a later date. So tonight I am introducing our first applicant for the Equity and Arts Hiring Program. Some of you were not elected at the time. We introduced this back in October of 2016, led by Jennifer Lassick. The idea was that arts management was kind of suffering from a lack of diversity, and this was an opportunity to both bring diversity into the kind of management levels of art organizations, but also to support the arts organizations because they don't have the funding to hire staff. So our thought was, let's try to help our artists expand, but also work to add people of color to the art community. So tonight, Mudlark Theater is here. They're going to talk about how they would use the funding. It's a $25,000 match, so they have $25,000, and we'll bring $25,000. Both Pat Effium and I are available to answer any questions from a technical standpoint. But I'd like to invite Mudlark to present just really briefly about how they plan to use the funding.
Well, can we ask some questions first?
Sure, of course.
Technical questions.
Of course.
One of the things that I was concerned about as I read through this very intense response, it was sort of like a question and answer proposal. It almost seemed like that this was just designed only for Mudlark, and I know it wasn't. At least I hope it wasn't. And I'm just wondering, we're so concerned about transparency and inclusiveness. Did others have an opportunity to compete for this? I mean, did Fleetwood, did Children's Theater, did Piven, and I'm sure there are others. I'm just not really into the arts. I'm sort of provincial. All I care about is Theo Ubakwe. I want them in that theater.
I wonder why, right?
I mean, I didn't want them to apply for it at all. They don't need it. But I'm just wondering, were they the only ones who knew about this?
Well, Ms. Effium's standing over my shoulder. I anticipate she has an answer. I'm going to assume, I'm hoping you have an answer.
I think I have an answer.
All right.
So, yes, understand that the problem was, and will continue to be at least for a while, is how do we get the word out? The real struggle and what the committee battled with across the board was they have to be Evanston residents and they have to be people of color. And so how do we go about beating the bushes to find candidates that are appropriate? I must tell you that, some of the disappointment, from me anyway, was that initially the committee felt like we're just not going to find people of color who have the right credentials in our community. It's a tough journey, but it's one that we have to be conscious about looking for. But yes, we got the word out as much as possible. I think we're going to have to do a much better job as we go along of making sure that organizations understand what this money is, how it's available. Part of what we added to the grant as we went along, looking at the difficulties, was then my continued participation in the process to show organizations how do we go beyond our standard practices to find people of color. How do we onboard people of color? Because you're talking about organizations that are predominantly white. So how do we onboard them? So part of the process would be my working with them over the course of the year on how to onboard and how to continue to recruit beyond that. So the answer is yes, but the answer is also it's just not an easy task to do to find people of color.
No, but I think you kind of missed my point.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not hard to find Michael Miro.
Right.
He's white, and you want white people to bring on minorities. You know, that's an easy one.
Right.
So Piven's pretty white. You know, a lot of the others are pretty white.
Yep.
So how? I mean, what I'm seeing is these other groups know about this so that they could then go out and bring on even Fleetwood Jourdain. I don't know what do they have people of color in like in development positions and in producer? I think they do. But what about children's theater? Do they have, and also, is Michael going to go out and cannibalize Fleetwood's director of development or their big shot producers who might be of color? I mean, I don't know. How did we pick Michael?
Well,
Was he the only one that applied for the grant?
No, and there was and Paul is going to answer some of that. That part of the issue is exactly what you're talking about, is that you don't find quite often there is a lack of people of color in decision-making roles in the arts. So that's how the project began to begin with, is that you're not finding people of color in those positions, but there was lots of committee work that did bring together several groups, but then I'll let Paul speak to the rest of that.
Let me add one thing so I'm not misunderstood. I think this was a brilliant proposal. I mean, fabulous proposal.
I hear you.
I'm just wondering, is it the only one out there? And so,
Mike.
Okay, just to answer Alderman Rainey's question very, very vaguely, Jennifer Lassick has been promoting this program in her regular arts meetings.
I don't know.
Right. So what I'll commit to this evening is making sure that Jennifer provides a report on that. She's not available tonight to be here to present. She'll have a very quick answer. I think Mr. Merrill has some thoughts on this too, because he's in those meetings. But I will make sure that we have a report to you before City Council, or as part of that staff report that describes our outreach efforts for this program. Okay.
All right. I mean,
I'm sorry I don't have an answer tonight.
Everybody could have been told, and Michael's the only one who was smart enough to apply. But I can't imagine that a $25,000 grant was out there and nobody else wanted it.
All right. Well, you have to bring 25 to the table as well, so that that makes it a little more challenging. But
this is fair.
So we'll report on that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. I'm sorry. Alderman Simmons wanted to say something.
Thank you. So I know I've been hearing a lot of great things about a black theater company that I believe is partnered with Mudlark, the Art of Revolution. And so why was there not an opportunity for them to receive the grant directly in this grant cycle?
And again, I can't answer it exactly directly. I do know that we worked, and I personally have worked with Art of Evolution as well. The big struggle with this is, as great as a grant as it is, it takes a lot of, you have to have enough internal structure to be able to support it to begin with. So even trying to get through the application process, and then how do we identify candidates, and once we get that, who's going to be our fiscal agent, and how do we collect this, were questions that were explored very deeply. As Paul said, certainly Jennifer did a great deal more work on it than I did. I kind of got it brought in at the tail end. But I do know that William Eason is very, very well aware of the grant. And I'm not going to put you on the spot, but maybe Michael can help answer that, because as I think all of you all know, they partnered to do the Art of the ID play. And so, if you don't mind.
Well, so with that said, I would like to challenge the staff to maybe work harder with for example, Art of Revolution, because the growing theater company, I mean, we thought enough of them to contract them to do special showing for the city staff, and the shows have been selling out and rave reviews by elected and city leaders. Was it a capacity issue? Was it a legal structure? Like, what can we do to help them qualify so it doesn't have to be like diluted and passed through sort of a parent company?
Yeah. And so many of your questions, talking to William even as late as Friday, we have a number of resources that have come back to us and said, can we do another remount? And I'm thinking, well, of course they can. And in talking to Michael and William, it's not nearly as easy as we think it is. And it's not a matter of just having a space and a couple of dollars. And so William, I know right now, is in the process of deep fundraising, and part of those reasons. But if you all are okay, I'll ask Michael to come.
We should.
Come on.
Hi, everybody. Michael Miro, Executive Director of Mudlark Theater. To answer your question, yes, I will tell you that Jennifer was very excited as soon as this was presented to City Council the first time, and she does have these monthly meetings with the arts groups, and she has been talking about it at every arts group. I don't know how many arts groups actually applied, and I think the conditions were, I'm not positive on this, but I think you had to be between budgets of 100,000 to $1 million. So that, winnows it a little bit. And then, of course, the $25,000 match, that's not something that every organization can do. But, I mean, she has been talking about it a lot, and she has, emails that she sends out to all the arts groups. So just to answer that question. But should I talk more about the...
Also, there was a thing in your proposal that said that, did you hire somebody on February 1st or some 5th?
No, we haven't.
You had a closing.
Well, we originally
closed your application on February 5th or something.
In February, I think. Well, originally this was when Jennifer had first told me about it. This was supposed to be earlier on in December, and so we had hoped to be able to hire somebody by February, but this got pushed from last month.
That's just on hold, right?
Right. We haven't been. Yeah.
You haven't searched yet.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I get it. Go.
Okay. So, I mean, you saw in the application, but it would be for the position of a senior level position of Director of Development. We're obviously very, very excited for this opportunity, and, to hire an Evanston resident, person of color, to join our organization, which, for those of you that don't know, we've experienced tremendous growth over the last few years, but, in order to have a policy of no child ever being turned away, it does require a robust fundraising operation. And, we've done pretty well with relying on smaller donors over the years, and we're trying to kind of ramp up a major gifts program and attract more institutional support, but that's a challenge. And obviously, attracting talented staff requires having competitive salaries. So a salary match like this is just amazing and crucial. So.
What's the chance of your finding an Evanston resident for this job? I mean, is that a requirement?
It is.
Is that limiting?
I mean, I suppose it is, but I sort of resigned myself to the fact that, this is the city of Evanston, and it was, it's being supported by the city, so it would make sense that they would want that to be a requirement. And, it's going to require a lot of search effort, but it's going to require, talking to the right people. And, I'm confident that with Pat's support and getting the word out to the right people in the community,
What if it ends up you have to steal somebody from another theater company? What if there's a premier person, woman, I hope, of color from another community is the perfect match for you? You wouldn't make an exception?
Don't take the bait. Don't do it. Come on.
I mean, come on, ladies, let's all.
Get into looking for someone in our Evanston community. We have a huge talent base, folks that are committed to the arts.
All right.
I'm
What
confident that you'll be able to do
happily
it.
Employed? All right.
I mean, I will be honest. Jennifer was. We have talked about the fact that if by some chance we couldn't do it in the field of development, Mudlark is so sort of growing so fast, it could be a different senior level position.
I got you. Okay. I would go with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Great talent in our town.
All right. That would be fine.
Yeah, like a director of marketing and communications or something like that.
Yeah.
We got you. We got you.
Same thing. Okay. So, okay, yeah.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See what happens.
Thank you.
All righty. Now that we've actually done the thing that we should have done first of all, anybody have any more questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All righty. Moving right along. Economic Development Communications? Nothing? Nothing? Any secrets to share with us? Any inside information? Real estate transfer tax report? I did notice that you had the 2016 budget, we budgeted for $3 million. Did you mean 17?
There might have been a typo. The collector's office prepares the report and sends it to us.
But you don't look at it to check it? Because we went over 3 million. We went way over 3 million.
Include some of the 2016 data in that left-hand column for comparison.
I know, but because we did exceed, if that was supposed to be for 2017. Thanks to Albion, we beat our budget. That was a good thing.
I think the biggest transaction of the year, 1007 Church, was the
Yeah.
Rating King.
Yeah. Very nice. All right. Announcements and updates from EDC members. Anybody have any announcements? No? You don't have any announcements, Alderman? No. All right. Anybody? No announcements? Nothing happening in your wards? Anybody defeat anything worthwhile? No? Hearing nothing? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.